Hey there, welcome to ZX Crochet. So today's tutorial is going to be about this beautiful crochet t-shirt dress, and this looks like at the back. It's very simple to make, plus this is going to be the first product that I'll be selling, and it will be going for $30, and if you're in Uganda that's around 108,000 Ugandan shillings. And if you haven't subscribed, please do not forget subscribe. So to begin, I'm going to be using Winter King. It's 4-ply or medium weight yarn, and then I'll be using this small size yarn for the arms. I'll be using 2 strands. Then I'm going to be using a 3.0 millimeter hook, Danny needle to weave in the ends, and then I'm going to be using this tape measure. So to begin, we're going to be making this. It's more like a rectangle. You can see how it looks like. This is more like a rectangle. You're gonna need 2 of these, and it's worked from the bottom going upwards. So you work from the bottom and then come up to this side up. So when you reach at the top, you will be adding these are 5 rows this side, and then 5 rows the other side for the front part, and then it will be 3 rows at the back and 3 rows. Sorry, for the back we shall be adding 3 rows, and then for the front we're adding 5 rows. 1 2 3 4 and 5 rows. So that's the front part. I've already done that. So now this is going to be my back part. The back part has to have 50 rows, and for the front part gotta have 48 rows. It's really that simple. So to begin, we are going to measure. The simplest thing to do is to measure like from the other shoulder, the end of the other shoulder to the end of the other shoulder. But for mine, I came up with 20 inches, so I made a chain of 20 inches. But if you're more curvy, you can measure around your hips and also make a chain that's half your hips. Let's say your hips are like 50, then that means you make a chain of 25. So first you're going to make a slip knot, and after making a slip knot, for my case you're going to make a chain of 87, yes, which is 21 inches. But of course as you go it will measure 20 inches, which is pretty okay. So now make a chain that's half your measurements. Like that's if you measured around your hips. If you got a 50, make a chain of that's worth 25 inches. And if you got it, and if you measured around your shoulder, just make a chain that's worth those inches. So after that, we are going to count 2 stitches from the hook, and then we are going to insert a double crochet into that 3rd stitch or 3rd chain, and then we're going to insert double crochets into each and every chain up to the end of row 1. So we are coming to the end of this chain. Just make sure that you double crochet into each and every chain up to the end of row 1. So now row 1 is done. For row 2 you're going to make a chain of 2, which does not count as a stitch. So after that you're going to double crochet into that very first stitch right there, double crochet in there, and after that chain 1, skip 1 chain, go into the next with a double crochet, chain 1, skip another stitch, and go into the next, chain 1. So as you can see, we are going to continue chaining 1 and skipping 1 stitch up to the end of row 2. Plus, if there is anything you do not understand, please drop it in the comment section down below. I'll be so glad to get back to you. So here we are coming to the end of row 2. So the work is pretty simple, just we are going to be repeating row 1 in row 2. So you can see this is what we have. We are going into our last stitch on row 2. So row 2 is done. For row 3, chain 2, turn your work, and then place your first double crochet in that very first stitch. Place your double crochet into that chain 1 space. Place your next double crochet into that, on top of that stitch, on top of that double crochet I should say, and place your next one into that chain 1 space. Place another double crochet on top of that double crochet. So it's gonna be like this all around. You're gonna be repeating row 1 and row 2 up to the end of, until you come up with the desired numbers of rows. So you're coming to end of row 3. For row 4, chain 2, repeat row 2, which is place your first double crochet into that very first stitch. After that, chain 1, place your skip 1 stitch and then place your next double crochet in the next. So this is what we're going to be doing all around, and I did this for the front part. I made sure that I come up with 48 rows, and then for the back part you're gonna need 50 rows. It's really that simple. So now you can measure. As you can see, we started off with 21 inches, but don't mind if it comes out 20 inches or 1 inch less. And then when we measure from top to bottom, this is, let's say this is like for the front part, because for the front part we are stopping on row 48. So when you measure, you're gonna come up with 30 inches for the front part, and then for the back part it's gonna be around 31 inches. So I hope you don't get confused, because for the front part please make 48 rows, and then for the back part you're gonna make 50 rows. So as you can see, for the front part, after the 48th row you're going to be putting those the extensions I should say. So this is the back part. We stopped on the 50th row, and this is how it looks like. That means for the back part only 3 rows are remaining, 1, 2 and 3. And then for the front part you can see we oh my god, for the front part you can see we put 5 rows. So now this is the back part, and I'm gonna be showing you how to put the extensions. For my case, I counted 15 bars or 15 double crochets, and then I placed my stitch marker, and I did the same thing the other side. When we measure, we are going to be coming up with 7 inches off on the left. You can see those are 7 inches. 7 inches on the other side, on the left side, 7 inches, and then in the middle it's going to be around 6.5 inches. So as you can see, in the middle it's 6.5 inches, and this applies on both parts. So let's continue. Now we are going to be adding if this was the front part, we would be adding 5 more rows on the left, 5 more rows on the right, and for the back part we are going to be adding 3 rows on the left and 3 rows on the right. So now this row is for double crochet. We continue the sequence of double crochet row and then the chain 1 space row. So continue to double crochet up to where we placed our stitch marker right here. Coming to that part, continue to finish off your double crochets. And after that, for row 2 we are going to chain 2 turn your work. Remember, we are counting 5 rows for the front part, and then we are going to be counting 3 rows for the back part. So for row 2 you continue the sequence. That's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, stitch, double crochet into the next. So you continue this. For the front part, you're going to do this until you come up with 5 more rows, and this is the second row. And then for the back part, you're gonna do this until you have 3 more rows, because remember, for the back part we did 50 rows of the body, and then for the front part, remember, we did only 48 rows, so the 5 makes it equal. And then for the back part, just add 3 so that the work can balance. So now, if this was the back part, this would be our last row, and then we would turn to the other side and finish it off. We still add 3 rows, but if this is our front part, this is our 3rd, 4th and 5th will be needed. I hope you understand, and if there's anything that you do not understand, please comment in the section. Oh my god, comment in the comment section down below. So you can see I'm on the 3rd, and for the back part 3 rows are enough, but for the front you need 5 rows. Just continue to repeat that. Those are 5 on the right side, 5 on the left side, and then for the back part, 3 on the left side and 3 rows on the right side. So it's really that simple. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 for the front part. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So now this is what we have. Over repeating this because this really confused my sister who first tested this video. So let's continue. I'm finishing off my 3rd row, but since this is my back part, 3 rows are enough, and I will turn and do the same thing onto the left side of the work. So since we have our 3 rows, I'm going to make a chain. If it's the front part, just continue to add on more 2 rows. If it's the back part, just 3 rows are enough. So now this is what we have. I'm going to be repeating the same thing onto the other side. As you can see, our work is in total balance. So now this is what we have. You can see the front and the back. Now this is the front with 5 rows, and then the back got 3 rows of extension, because remember there are those 2 rows extra rows on the body, which makes it so equal. So I'm going to be repeating the same thing onto the other side. The back side, I'll be adding 3 more rows to make my work more balanced. So after that, you're going to arrange your work together, and after arranging your work together, you're going to identify your wrong side, because now we are going to begin stitching our work together. So identify your wrong side and then grab your darning needle. I've already identified mine and arranged my work. It doesn't matter like the top being on the bottom or the bottom being on the top. It's all okay as long as you're gonna stitch it together. So now I'm gonna be stitching my work together, just the top of the other arm. As you can see, I'm going through the stitches. It's really that simple. Just go through the stitches. You could use the single crochet method. Anything is just okay, because as you know, this is handmade product. Just do what feels right for you. Just continue to stitch your work together or single crochet your work together, whatever comes easy. So I decided to just weave in my end as I went. but you could leave it and do it later, but I decided to even mine, cut off the yarn. So I have this, and when you turn it to the right side, you're gonna be having something as beautiful as this. So I'm gonna be repeating the same idea onto the right side. So I'm done now. As you can see, this is what we have now. We are done stitching our work together. Plus, you should never forget, when you're stitching your work together, make sure that the wrong side is on top. So I'm gonna count off 15 rows. This is my 15th row. Oh, I'm counting 15 rows from the top. So again, count 15 rows and 15. I'm going to attach my stitch marker there. So I'm going to count off 15 rows from the top on the left side now, but of course I have to measure for you because we use different kinds of yarn. So now this is around 9 inches long. Place your stitch marker, go the other side, 9 inches. So now you're going to be stitching together this remaining work. So now take off your stitch marker and then insert your hook and then attach your chain. As you can see, I'm going to be single crocheting going down to the bottom and not going up. It's just that I flipped my video because I'm left-handed. So now continue to single crochet your work together. I try to use this method. I copied it from by Aoko. I hope, yeah, I actually copied this method from a tutorial by Aoko. So like, you single crochet onto this side and then single crochet onto the other side. So let me try to be so clear about that. Come into this space and make a single crochet, then go into that same space on the other side, because you have to make sure that your work is corresponding, like the chain 1 row is in line with the other chain 1 row. So now this is what I'm going to be doing. Single crochet this side and then single crochet the other side. So I'm going to be repeating this all the way down, and then I'll be repeating the same method onto the other side of the t-shirt dress. And if there's anything you do not understand, feel free to ask. I'll be so glad to get back to you. I keep saying that. And if there's anything you'd like to see me crochet, please also drop it in the comment section down below. So now I'm finishing off this row with single crochets. Now you can make a chain of 1 and then cut off your yarn. Done cutting, then pull out the loop. So now this is what we have, and then I did the same thing onto the other side. So we are done joining our work together, and the only thing remaining is for us to attach the hands, the sleeves. Yes, there's a oh my god, yes, they are supposed to be the sleeves and not the hands. So the next part is for us to attach the sleeves. But as you can see, to attach the sleeves, make sure that your work is on the right side. This is the right side of our work, and we are going to begin attaching our sleeves there. So to do that, you're going to grab your yarn. I'm using a small size yarn, so I'm going to be doubling the strands. Just come below the like where your underarms are going to be, and then attach your yarn and make sure it's secure in place. Some just tie it there. Just use whichever method is simple for you. After that, I'm going to make a chain of 1, then I'm going to double crochet into that same space, and then I'm going to double crochet into the next space. There's no like identified stitches where you're going to be placing your your double crochet. So just make sure that you do not place too many into one stitch, and do not place too little into one stitch. No, do not place too little, do not place too many, compact. So now this is what I'm going to be doing. If you can have a look at the video more closely, there's that space, place your double crochet, and then go into the chain 2 space, place 1, then go into that small space there, also place another double crochet. Now go into that space, chain 2 space, go into that small space, chain 2 space. So I'm going to be doing this all around my work, and I'll meet you when we're joining the work. So now this is what we have. Go in there with another double crochet. There's also that space, place your last double crochet, and now go into that chain, that third chain, go into that third stitch, I should say, with a slip stitch. So row 1 is done. For row 2 you're going to make a chain of 2 and then turn your work again. So we are going to follow that pattern, and for row 1 you're going to insert your double crochet into that very first stitch. You can place your stitch marker just to know where you'll be putting you'll be slip stitching into. So now continue, like chain 1, skip 1 stitch, chain 1, skip the next, going to the next with a double crochet, chain 1, skip, going to the next double crochet. And I'm going to be doing this all around my work, and then after we shall be just repeating row 1 and row 2. So here we are, and we are coming to the end of row 2. We are coming to the end of row 2. As you can see, you skip this stitch and go into the next with a double crochet. Place your double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 stitch and go into the next with a double crochet again, double crochet into that space. It's quite simple to make actually. So double crochet in there, and after I'm going to make a chain of 1, and after I'm going to be slip stitching my work together. And also, okay, the best thing is for you not to like make that chain 1, the last chain 1 that I did. So after that I'm going to be repeating row 1 and row 2 until I come up with 9 rows of the sleeves. So for row 3 you're going to be inserting your double crochet into that very first, or after chaining 2 and turning, you're going to be inserting your first double crochet into that stitch, and then the second double crochet will be going into that chain 1 space. Then we continue to repeat our sequence all around, and then you're going to be doing this until you come up with 9 rows on the left for the sleeves on the left, and then you'll be also repeating the same thing until you come up with 9 rows for the sleeves on the right, for the sleeve actually, for the sleeve and not sleeves on the right and left. It should be the same. So we are done placing the sleeves. As you can see, this is the sleeve on the right, and when we count they have to be 9 rows, and that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. I wanted it to end on the compact side, compact row, like double crochet row and not the chain 1 row. So when you're working your work together, make sure that they are corresponding. As you can see, it's the same this side. When you count, those are 9 rows. So now this is what we have. I wanted to place another black row in the middle, but then I saw that the lining here when I was placing the black didn't look so nice, so I thought it would be the same for the middle, so I decided to leave it at that. So now this is what we have. This is the right side of our work, and then I'm going to be measuring for you since we use different yarns, and then some crochet tighter and some more loose. So now for the these are 5 inches for the sleeves measure 5 inches, and then for the whole part we are going to be measuring again. Plus, do not forget, I'm selling this as a product, not a tutorial. I'm selling it at only $30, so you can DM me on my Instagram, which is at ZXCrochet, or check out my email, which is in my about section. So as you can see, those are the rows that we have for the whole t-shirt dress. So I'll be measuring the width. It's 20, it has to be 20 anyway, so yeah, 20. So now our piece is done, and thank you for watching. Before I do that, we also need to weave in the ends. Just turn your work, weave in the ends, and your work is completely done. And once again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and also give this video a thumbs up. It will really help me a lot. And do not forget, I'm selling it for the first time. This is my first product to sell, so I'm selling it for only $30. So thank you for watching, and happy crocheting.